So sometimes the drains that are just outside the shower will stop draining properly. Doesn't take much to fix this. Main reason that those ones don't have the issue so much is because they get tons of water flow. So they're constantly getting flushed out. These ones, however, get very little water flow, so a combination of soap residue and dirt, hair, everything can build up in these, causing them to stop draining. So first step is just grab yourself a bucket, vinegar, baking soda, and a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Remove that. You'll see if I can get better lighting. You'll see there's like this rubber diaphragm in here, and it's hard to see, but it kind of closes together like this at the bottom. And so if that's sticking together, maybe you can see the light. Anyways, if that's sticking together, then this isn't going to drain. So really, you could probably just clean this up purely by hand and not even bother with the vinegar and baking soda, but the vinegar and baking soda works well. So I'm gonna just take half a cup of baking soda, dump it there, and then so the ratio is 2 vinegar to 1 baking soda, or if you were using double strength vinegar, then you could just use 1 to 1. This is regular vinegar, and as you can see, so this is vinegar that I've used to clean the shower mixing valves before. That's why it's got this sort of color to it. That's just from it cleaning the scale off the mixing valve cartridges, but this is a good way to repurpose it. So just gonna dump 2, and then I'm just gonna give that some time. So depending on how bad it is, a few minutes is probably enough, like give it like 5 minutes. If you were dealing with more stubborn drain issue, like in a sink where there's more soap residue, you might want to give it longer. Also, in terms of the water that you pour down to chase it, boiling water is best, or as hot as you can possibly get. So ideally, you would use the water from AK that we use for flooding, or the water from a kettle, boiling water, but I don't think that this drain's actually all that bad, just based on looking at it, and the one that I just did previously. So I think in this case, just using hot water from the shower that's conveniently right here is going to be quite enough. Whereas if I was doing the bathroom sinks or something that had a lot more soap residue or something like that, then I would make use of boiling water. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just using a screwdriver just to knock off. There's a few little sort of lime deposits in a couple places. And so I'm just knocking off those lime deposits while this bucket fills with water. Okay, so that bucket's full now. And you can see, it's been about 5 minutes and there's no vinegar left. It's completely drained out of there, which is a good sign. So now I'm just gonna flush it with water. And when you're pouring the water in, you wanna pour it gradually so that the water doesn't go all out into the dressing room. But you can see it's draining quite well there. I don't know how clear that is on the video, but it's definitely draining. Now I'm going to just clean up around here. It's mostly just some soap residue, probably some other dirt and gunk, but it's really not that, this one's really not that bad. Maybe we can find a small brush that would fit in here well to make this a little quicker, but can actually do it pretty easily with just your fingers. Now I'm going to just fill another bucket, dump that in, and then I'll reassemble. Okay, so while I was filling the second bucket of water, I managed to get this flipped sort of inside out. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the diaphragm. So once there's enough buildup of stuff, this kind of can get stuck to itself. And that's what will cause it to back up and not drain. So it would maybe drain slowly. If this is stuck in the middle, a little bit of water can get through the edges. But like this should be able to open like that and let lots of water through when there's enough volume of water there. So you don't need to flip this inside out like this every time you clean this. This was just to demonstrate and show what it actually looks like, because it's really hard for the video to capture it, given that it's kind of black and dark in there. So, second bucket of water. Now you can see how well that drains. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Definitely best to keep the screws in your back pocket while you're doing this, so that they don't end up getting washed down the drain. And if for some reason this was much worse and you couldn't just do this using baking soda and vinegar, which is a very safe and environmentally friendly way to do this, you could always use a slightly more aggressive product, but it's really best not to use something like muriatic acid, because that's really hard on pipes over time. It's best to just do it as mechanically as possible. So if needed, you can use a snake or auger. If the baking soda and vinegar isn't enough, that's pretty much all there is to it. Should take no more than about 10-15 minutes per change room, and maybe only needs to get done once a year at most.